Gonna get ready to do some more clocks. Can't wait. So let me show you what I do. I got a pack of these albums from Amazon. 15 albums. Can't remember what I paid for. A little bit for $1 a piece. But these are a great thing to pour on. These are great to do the resin geodes that I'm going to do again. So yeah, they come in the old sleeves. And what did I get today? I got Joe Finger's car and his swinging string band. And another one I had was the Greatest 64 Motown Originals with Diana Ross, The Temptations. These are some classics. These classics are going to be made into beautiful art. So the first thing I'm going to do, take a little alcohol, clean off the top surface that I will be doing the resin on. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to put hot glue on here to make a couple of rings to kind of pour my resin in the channels. And then I am going to gesso this to give it a base coat before I put on a base coat of acrylic color, and then everything else will be resin on top of that. So just cleaning off the surface, any dirt, anything like that. And then on the back side, I'm going to put a piece of frog tape to block that hole from the resin pouring through. But what will happen is I'll resin over it and everything, and then once it's cured, we just drill through this to put the clock part that will come through the hole and be attached to the back. And I get my clock parts. I bought one from Amazon to try it out, but typically I get them at Michael's. And for the albums, these record sizes, 33s, whatever, they need the 1/4 inch shaft that goes through. You don't want it any longer than that, or it really will stick out a whole lot. I don't put any crystals in the center of the thing so that the hands are not going to conflict with anything sticking up. I only put the crushed glass around the outside rim. That way the hands are free and you just do the pretty artwork with your resin and acrylics in the center part. So you'll see the process as I do it. The other thing is I always tape off the back of anything that I'm going to resin, and it's kind of hard to tape a circle, so the easiest thing to do is to just trace out on some contact paper. This is clear contact paper, but it doesn't matter if it's clear, wood, see-through, not see-through, but this is see-through. Once the circle is cut out, I save the other pieces, and if you pour on the shiny side on the back, you can tape this down on something flat and leave the bottoms of your pour cups. You can pour your pour paint out and use acrylic skins from these. So I saved all those pieces. But the reason I use contact paper is because with resin you want to tape off the back so that your drips and everything do not stick to the back just like you would on a canvas or wooden panels or any of those surfaces. And so it's just easier to use contact paper. It sticks wonderfully and it peels right off and takes the resin drippings with it. So it works really, really well. This is great for the backs of tiles as well. It's a lot faster than taping with frog tape a million times. You just firmly press it out, get out all the bubbles, and it's nice and tight on the back. And now my resin drips will not stick. If I have any edges that are a little too much left over, I just cut them off so that I don't have a lip of resin that is sticking out from the album. So that looks pretty good. Now you might ask, why do I put the frog tape on there first? Because frog tape is super tacky, super sticky. It will keep anything from bleeding through under the tape, whereas contact paper is made to be kind of a peel and stick and repositionable thing. It's great for the drips and all and fingerprints, but I don't trust it to not let the resin bleed through underneath, and I don't want any resin on the back side. So that's why I do the frog tape first before the contact paper. Okay, so now I want a couple of channels that I can go ahead and put out with my hot glue, and this just kind of gives me areas to pour my resin and let it puddle between a raised area. In the grand scheme of things, when the resin is all poured about a 1/4 inch thick, you'll never see this hot glue lump, but it keeps my colors separated into channels. And like I said, I'll have crushed glass in resin around the edge, and that will kind of build a dam so that my resin doesn't pour over the edge to begin with. One here, and I'm not gonna try to get it to like a perfect circle. I want it to be a little wonky, because you know, geodes aren't always perfectly round, right? Any area that I see that's a little thin. The thing I don't like about hot glue guns are the strings. Okay. And the reason I didn't go anywhere closer to the edge is because of my numbers that I'll be putting around the clock. You don't want your raised edges to be where you need to lay your numbers down on a flatter which will be laid into the resin. So that's why I stay probably 2 inches roughly for the most part away from the edge of that's probably the closest edge right there. So I'm going to let this totally cool down and not be hot anymore, and then once that's cooled down, then I will do a layer of gesso. And you can tell as it cools down, it starts to get white. These are clear glue sticks, but as it cools down, it turns to a kind of a milky color, just like it is in the stick. And then I'm going to use Liquitex Basics gesso. You could use primer, acrylic based primer that's, you know, house paint, just something to put a white base coat on here and give it something really good that the acrylic colors will cling to, and then the resin will go over everything with sparkles and glitter and color, and it'll be gorgeous. I'll be back later. Wanted to show you this. I ordered it on michaels.com. It's by Art Minds Clock Movement Kit, and it is a 1/4 inch shaft, which is the smallest shaft you can get, the shortest for like albums and vinyls. Does not come with numbers, so I ordered those from Amazon. And There will be a link in my video below. I'm going to take a piece of plastic tape and lift off all the strings from the hot glue. Now, I'm going to put a light coat of gesso on. Well, not a light coat, a good coat. You don't have to get a ton of it out, but this also keeps the label from bleeding through, that kind of thing as well. It's just a good idea. I'll probably put 2 coats on. Some gessos are this one's a thicker one, but it doesn't do like full coverage. It's, you know, Liquitex Basics. So it's probably like a student grade gesso. It's not their most expensive. And it doesn't matter about brush strokes or anything like that, because we're going to put a couple of coats of acrylic on here to and it doesn't smell good either. I just want to add that in real quick. It just does not smell good. It takes maybe an hour to dry, and then I can recoat it again. Okay, second coat. As you see, you can see through this, and you definitely don't want that with putting on a layer of acrylics or resin. You want it pretty insignificant, so it's best to gesso it and get rid of it. I think I'll do one more coat and let this dry. I'll be back. Okay, I'm gonna put a white base coat just to get it nice and bright white. Then I'll put the colors on after this coat dries. We got the album, it's dried, and gonna start putting resin on it. And I'm probably gonna do about 10 to 12 ounces, and then once it's cured for about 3 or 4 hours, I may come back and put a thin layer on top to seal it all in good. Well, I will, because that's when I put my numbers in and that kind of thing. I wanted to show you with this. I'm taking 6 little 3-ounce cups. I put some frog tape and just securing it under the album so that it is supported well. And this is an older, like from the 60s vinyl record, and it's got a little warp to it, so it's going to be really important, hopefully, when it's cured, is I will lay it on a flat surface to totally cure, and the weight of the resin will hopefully make it lay flat. It did on the last one. It did perfectly, and it dried rock hard, or cured rock hard. So we got it ready to go, and so I think think we're ready to get busy mixing some resin. I'm using Counterculture DIY, and there will be a coupon for $5 or so off below the video with a link to their website. And I'm using the thin viscosity on this one, but thin is great for this. We're going 1/4 of an inch or less on the whole thickness of the piece, or as far as laying it in layers. And then, you know, there'll be a clock part that is going to be attached from the back through the hole, and numbers. And I'm going to put crushed glass. I made my own crushed glass, which is in another video. I'll post that link below the video, or put the number in the video after I edit this video. So I just got clear glass pebbles and heated them for about 15 minutes, and then put them in an ice bath, and then it makes them turn into little crystals inside, and then you crush them with a hammer. And so I've got my own crushed glass, and that's going to become my barrier. I'm going to put some of that with resin, and it'll be my barrier to keep the resin from flowing off of the vinyl record. So that'll be the outside layer. And then I'm not going to do anything. I might add some glitter, some maybe glass beads, some flakes or something, but nothing that's really three-dimensional, because it's going to be layers of resin that will come up to these edges of this hot glue areas that I made. And you don't want anything much higher than that, because you want the arms of your clock to not hit anything that's on the surface. So with the aqua color, I'm going to use try out some black diamond pigment powder, which is really fine and very shimmery. It's beautiful. And I also have some Delta Ceramcoat tropical glitter, which I used the last time, which is really pretty, and it would look pretty thrown in with this turquoise color. And I also got some silver, which I'm going to maybe put into my silver resin. And then for the black, I'm probably going to just use black pinata ink just to tint it, because I want it to be see-through, and put in some beautiful holographic black glitter. And then I've got some chunkier glitter that is, you know, more standard size glitter, and may throw in just a little bit of that. So it's good before you get started to kind of open up things, because when you're working with resin, it's very, very messy and sticky, and everything sticks to you, and especially with glitter. And then also I'm going to mix up a white pearly, I'm going to mix up a silver with some Pearl X powder, mica powders. I've got pearl white, which I'm probably going to do by itself, and then I'm going to maybe try to make an antique silver and macro pearl to maybe make a silverish color, and I might put some glitter in there. So I'm just going to kind of wing it on the colors until I kind of get what I want, but I'm opening up everything. And the thing too you want to do with resin, you want to wear your safety glasses, your respirator, and open windows or ventilation. I'm going to open my window so that I have ventilation. I'm not going to talk during the video because I'll have my respirator on. The rest will just be fast forwarded so you can watch for entertainment purposes. resin, and right before it's totally set up, I'll put the adhesive numbers into the resin so that they're permanently set in. Okay, so now I'm going to put the numbers in the resin. It's still tacky, so it'll stick like super fast. I don't have any leeway with lifting back up once it's down, so you got to kind of get it right the first time. So I'm just going to lay it down in there and shift a bit. I've got a little skewer thing I can use if I need to. Cover it back up. So it's funny, the letters don't look black in the camera, but they are black, I promise. Got lots of sparkle. You can kind of see the beads raised up there, and that where the light's going around right there, and of course the crushed glass on the edge, which is very shimmery, but you can't really see it. I'll have to show it to you out in the sunlight. But there's that one.